All right, Carly, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Come on. Got to get myself fired up today. I was a little under the weather yesterday, so I started today with the let's go. I'm going to get my head into this. Ready, though. All right, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Here we are, still very early in February, and we are here for our 26th show. 26. Yeah.
February already?
February.
Wow.
Still young in the season, though.
Time flies.
Time does fly. All right, as usual, Carla and I will place a link above from our last show, which was Friday, I think.
It was, yes, Friday.
So if you are new to this channel or this group or family, as we like to call it, you can stop here by clicking the link above, and you can catch up with all of the previous shows, discussions, topics, and comments. Right?
Right.
All right, so this past weekend, Carla and I had the opportunity to do a couple of videos or commercials for the last string test and play test that we were fortunate enough to do for YTEX. As always, a big shout out to YTEX and Ybor Savage. And we will put a link above for the results of that play test with YTEX's Hexagon X as well. So if you
check out the video.
Check out the video. I thought we did a pretty good job.
You get to see us hitting a little bit.
Yeah, so Carla and I went out, we hit some balls, so if you want to see Carla and I hitting a little bit, then you can click the link above and see what we do on some of our downtime from the show, and hopefully you enjoy that. I thought you hit pretty well.
Thank you.
I felt like I was serving okay.
Thank you.
So we'll see what happens. So we have the little 3-year-old in here today, so pardon any sporadic interruptions that we may have. So my apologies, by the way. I wanted to get this show done on yesterday. However, I woke up a little bit under the weather. So thank you very much, Carla, for assisting me with my rough day yesterday. Yes. Big fist pump on that.
You're welcome. He was really not feeling well, but he really wanted to do the show today.
Yeah, I really wanted to do the show today, so if my energy is a little off from what's normal, is that I could not push it off another day. Yesterday, I had no choice. So I'm here, pumping myself up. Come on, get your head in it. Let's go. All right. So we have a lot of new members to this group, or again, as I like to call our tennis family, that we are all putting together as one. And I would like to welcome all of those individuals to our group right now.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we have the following people that are new to the group. We have Hula Baloo, welcome. We have Viva Hernando 1, welcome. We have Euros Petrovic.
He had a funny comment.
Funny comment. Funny comment.
Yeah.
Welcome. We have Juan Fernando Montano. Welcome. We have John Durham. Welcome. We have Shoni Vontage. Welcome. We have Esso the Don BX. Welcome. We have Sika Draza or Chica Draza. Welcome. We have Luka Radjanovic. Welcome. Let's go. Come on.
Some tough names.
We do.
But fun to see that they are from different countries, right?
Where are you from?
Yes. Well, I had a few that already gave me an answer, but that's very neat. I thought that was neat, you know?
Yeah, we always try to welcome anyone new, especially if you make comments, etc. Find out where you're from so we can always involve all of you, as we always try to do in our discussions.
And a lot of these guys they were like on point with their comments. They had statistics, match to match, head to head. I mean, it was very interesting.
Also, we have Srjan Jovanovic. Welcome. Let's go.
Oh, wow.
And we have Miguel Barahona.
Barahona.
Mm-hmm. Welcome. Welcome, all of you. If I missed anyone again, yesterday I was really, I couldn't even pay attention yesterday because I was so out there. But if I missed anyone, either it was because of my status yesterday under the weather, or there was no comment left. I kind of go by the who's the new faces and comments, and then list them at the beginning of each new show. All right, so let's jump right into the show number 26. You ready, Carla?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right.
All right. So we are going to start with the results from our last poll question. So the last poll question that we had was, will Novak Djokovic surpass Roger Federer's 20 majors? I think even though I want him to, and again, I'm a Federer fan, but as an athlete, as a competitor, I always like to see someone give another competitor a run for their money. I think someone even asked me, if you're a Federer fan, why would you want him to pass? I think my response was, why would we follow sports? Why would we follow any athlete if you didn't want to see someone contest that?
Sure, you don't want it to be too easy.
You don't want it to be.
Yeah, because then people say, oh, well, they got that because there was no competition, which we hear a lot about Federer slams, which is not fair.
And let's be real, if he gets to 18 or 19 and Federer's still at 20, that'll make my boy Federer play longer, right? So, yeah. I always like good competition, sure. And records are meant to be broken. Otherwise, why would we want to set the record in the first place?
Exactly.
All right, so the results of the question are in. 61% of you, and there were a lot of people that answered. I think over 400. There was over 400 people that answered this question. 61% voted in favor of yes, Djokovic will pass Federer. 39% voted no, he would not.
I also saw someone said, oh, Novak is going to get 22 to 23 slams. That's pretty high. He would have to be better than Superman.
And I think he backed that up with some pretty good statistics too. But again, statistics can spell everything or nothing. Statistics, you know, I forget who quoted this. There's no better way to lie than with statistics. You know. Anyway, you have to stay healthy to maintain your statistics. All right. So you all voted, and that was the answer to the poll question. 61% voted yes, Djokovic would. 39% voted no, he wouldn't. All right, so the majority of you said yes. Carla, does this make you worry more about your French Open bet that Kane and Rahesh have with you?
Not at all, because a lot of our viewers are Novak Djokovic fans. So I expected that to be a lot higher.
Let's go!
So I don't worry at all. When I win, when Novak loses the French and I win, I'm going to do a little dance here.
She's good. And I think you will get a new tennis racket from Kane, right?
I haven't heard from him, so Kane, don't back up.
And then I think Rahesh will have to wear a I Love Rafael Nadal shirt, right?
Yes, he will. And he also sent me an idea shirt with Novak Djokovic on.
In case you lose.
In case I lose, yes.
All right. Topic number 1 for show number 26. And this one's going to kind of be deep in kind of an odd, kind of up and down way. And here we go. Topic number 1. The state of Australian men's tennis. This is kind of an interesting deal. And it has a lot of negative energy behind it. But I'm going to stay positive. Let's go. So here's my first question. Is the current disarray of Australian men's tennis simply the result of a few disgruntled bad boys in the likes of Nick Kyrgios and Bernard Tomic? However, we cannot forget that Leighton Hewitt was an extreme bad boy in his time too.
He was. He's had quite a few incidents.
And he had an incident with James Blake.
Hewitt has criticized other players as well. I mean, he was a bad boy. He had a match in 2001 with James Blake where, you know, a lot of exchanges were said against the chair umpire, and Blake didn't like it too much. You know, right before he retired his last match, he was calling names to the linesman just because they called him on football, and then exchanged words with a female chairman. I mean, made her feel this little, and she was a veteran of the sport. You know, she was a chair umpire for many years in many Grand Slams. So, I mean, he's a bad boy himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't like, the men's tour didn't like him too much. There's a lot of Spanish players who did not get along with him.
If anyone is new to the game or following tennis of this type of level of every day, it's part of what you do, and you have done it for a lot of years, you cannot forget that Hewitt was definitely no saint in the locker room, nor on the court, and he himself was an extreme tennis bad boy.
He was. Yes.
Plain and simple. Is this just publicity? You know, there's an old saying that there's no such thing as bad publicity. You know the old saying, right? Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes if someone's written off, they kind of like, for me, Kyrgios. Everything he does is negative publicity, but if it's publicity of any sort, then you get sponsors and you get attention and you get media coverage, so how is it bad publicity? Well, I disagree with that whole deal. I would rather be out of the limelight than in it for the wrong reasons, but unfortunately a lot of people don't agree with that, and a lot of sponsors don't agree with that. So is this whole disarray of Australian men's tennis the result of simply 3 bad boys on the same team?
I think so. To me, yeah. I mean, they're all trying to get attention. You have Bernard that's, gone on TV. Tomic that's gone with his dad, slamming Hewitt, and Hewitt slamming him back, saying, different things.
And then Bernard Tomic goes on the Australian version of 60 Minutes.
Well, that's what I was talking about. It just slams him.
And winking at the commentator.
Yeah, and just, and then Hewitt says, oh, but he threatened my family and stuff. I mean, you don't know who to believe at this point.
And then
there's always the truth to everything.
There's 2 sides to every story.
There's a truth to everything, though. Something's got to be true there.
And then you have Tomic saying, "I'll knock the guy out if he comes within, 1 meter of me or something."
I don't remember Jim Courier, the Davis Cup captain or the former tennis pro, ever talking bad about his team like that or saying anything negative about anyone in the American team.
So, do you think this is, Carla, a publicity stunt for more Australian coverage for this, or is this just a bad deal that involves 3 bad boys?
I mean, I don't think... I mean, they've got pretty decent Australian players. You got Alex de Minaur, who's a great player, right? Well, Millman, who's now making some noise. You got the young kid, Alex Papapirian, who's 19 years old, who's maybe the next big thing in Australia.
Well, speaking... Sorry to interrupt you, but speaking of a lot of the players on the Australian team that aren't caught up in this disarray, Australia just did... beat Bosnia-Herzegovina in the Australian Open qualifier.
But that was not a tough team to beat.
Well, there's always good players everywhere. If they're on the team, they're good players. So Australia did beat Bosnia-Herzegovina 4-0 in their qualifying Australian Open match with the players Alex de Minaur, who we all know, Alexei Papapirian, John Millman, John Pierres, and Jordan Thompson. Kyrgios didn't play. He said, quote, "It's meaningless."
Well, he not only that, according to Hewitt, he said that he would pick people that are a higher ranking. So Nick Kyrgios has dropped his ranking to number 67. That's a big blow for him. And that's why he missed his opportunity to play in this Davis Cup. But Hewitt also did say that that doesn't disqualify him from playing in the future.
Correct.
So he just took him out for this one because he thought it was more fair with these players. Of course, after what happened with Bernard Tomic, basically Australia said they drew the line on the sand.
Yeah,
that was enough for them.
It was enough for them.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. You don't need someone negative that doesn't like the captain. You don't need someone like that.
I agree. Again, I look at I guess this whole situation as a real bad deal for everyone involved, for the Australian fans, for the Australian team. I don't disagree with the fact that Tomic has no chance to play because of what he said. I do think Tomic is a good player, but I think since he was very young, or not very young, but maybe since he was just coming on the tour, him and his dad used to battle it out.
His father has a bad mouth, so that's a bad example.
Didn't his dad almost knock someone out or elbowed somebody?
He was arrested and banned from certain tournaments.
So these are a pretty aggressive pair. So I don't blame the Davis Cup team for wanting Tomic out, even though I wish the best for Tomic. He's always been kind of aggressive in the wrong ways, like a thuggish type way, like you're not really that bad of a dude, but yet you're putting out this whole aura like you want to just kick people's butts all the time.
He doesn't.
I don't really get that.
If you look at him, you don't get that. I don't get that vibe from him. But I think he just wants to play that role.
Yeah.
I thought he was coming back. I thought he was doing better. But I guess we're wrong.
I mean, this isn't the UFC. It's not boxing. It doesn't really fit the narrative.
Yeah.
And I don't really think Kyrgios' actions fit the narrative with his gestures on court and wearing basketball jerseys.
He has no respect for the game.
No disrespecting basketball.
No, he has no respect for the game of tennis. I wonder now with his low ranking of 67, will he lose sponsors?
That's a great stat. He did drop to 67 in the world, and deservedly so because he doesn't try.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what about Tsitsipas, who was supposed to play for who was thinking about playing for the Australian?
Yeah, I tell you what, that's another great fact. When Tsitsipas was younger, his father had almost went into an agreement with the Australian Tennis Federation or Australian Tennis that they would actually move to Australia, train with the Australians with the likes of, what is it, Pat Cash there?
Patrick Rafter?
Patrick Rafter, yeah, Rafter, I said Pat Cash. Similar, not really, but similar first name.
Yeah.
So in any event, I bet you they're glad that he didn't do so.
Definitely, yeah. He doesn't need that.
All right, so today's poll question is this. Today's poll question, so check out the link above for the poll question. Here's the poll question. Today's poll question. Is men's tennis in Australia right now better for being the centerpiece of all this publicity, even though it's negative? In other words, is this better for Australia to create this internal fighting centerpiece, this mechanism of disarray? Does it pump players up to fight? Does it make them better? Or is it just a big disarray sandwich, saying it correctly with no weird words?
To me, it's a big mess, but that's my opinion.
Is this a good thing for Australian tennis, or is it a bad thing? Today's poll question, let's hear the answer. In my opinion, I'm 41. I was born into the game. My father, 81, was born into it. Her father plays. We've been around this game for generations in family, and for us since we were very, very young. For me, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen across the board in any sport, for so many players to be fighting amongst themselves when they're from the same country.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot of dirty laundry that doesn't need to be exposed. Who needs that?
So how ultimately does Australia handle it?
For me, I would actually get rid of Leighton Hewitt, and I would never let Kyrgios or Bernard Tomic play. I just wouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the Davis Cup. You want to represent your country, and this is what you're getting.
Yeah, you're getting everyone tearing your country apart.
Yeah.
I think if it were me, I would have to let Hewitt go, I would let Kyrgios go, and I would let Tomic go, all three of them, indefinitely.
Yes.
We can't forget that Hewitt's been a bad boy. How can you expect him to be different now?
Plus, he moved out of the country, too, when he didn't want to play. He didn't want to pay high taxes, and he came back. There's an interest, obviously, money interest behind it.
There's a lot of politics behind this, and there's a lot of money involved behind this. And again, this Davis Cup format changed. This whole format
so
changed.
It's not as important as it used to be. Yeah.
Now it's a money play and not necessarily as much pride.
Right.
However, let's look at it like this. If I was Bill Belichick, or if any of us were Bill Belichick, the New England Patriots coach, or the Phil Jackson coach of the 6-time champion Chicago Bulls, or any coach out there, soccer, football, whatever. If you were a top-notch coach and you had 3 problematic players on your team, or you own one of these teams and you had a problematic coach fighting with 2 players, don't you think they would all be benched? How many sports organizations, and you can comment on this below, how many sports organizations have been absolutely destroyed by problematic people in the locker room or problematic coaches? Give me some examples. I mean, the list can go on indefinitely for many, many years. Dallas Cowboy teams where you have all these people in the locker rooms that are causing issues. All these basketball...
Well, you got the Giants, too. They have a lot of issues, too, in the locker room.
Yeah, you get all these players with all these egos that get paid all this money, and all they care about is themselves and how they look in the mainstream. Do they ever win championships? Do they ever? I can't expect this to go very well if all 3 of them don't go away.
Yeah. Okay.
All right? Your thoughts, comment below, start the discussion below, and we're going to move forward. All right, Carla, let's shift gears now from some of the negative stuff to some of the positive. Let's talk about current tournaments and notable results. Let's start with the men's ATP. I'll never let negative energy get me down. I'll always stay positive. Let's go.
You have to.
Gotta stay positive. All right, men's results.
Well, let's start out with the Davis Cup. The 18 teams are set. They've qualified. Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Croatia, France, Germany, Great Britain, Italy, Japan, Kazakhstan, Netherlands, Russia, Kazakhstan, sorry, Serbia, Spain, and the USA.
There you go.
And Switzerland lost, of course.
Well, Federer Rodrigo are going to play. So that's the list of 18 teams that have qualified for the 18-team tournament that begins in November. Again, if you follow Davis Cup like we have for our entire lives, this format is completely different. Normally, these matches take place throughout the year and have a lot of countrymen pride in them. Because of this format shift, a lot of things have changed. A lot of players think it's meaningless. A lot of people say it's just there to compete with Federer's Laver Cup, etc. We had done a video on this. And if I can find this video, and I will try, I will put a link above, and I'll put a note here I'll put a link above to our last video that we talked about this entire discussion on. So if you don't know what we were talking about, we won't waste time on it now. You can stop here. I'll flash the link above about our discussion on why this whole new Davis Cup format and Laver Cup and a lot of other cups that are forecasted to become part of tennis have really changed the game. And we both have agreed it's for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, totally.
All right.
All right, the next tournament is the Cordoba Open. It's a 250. Notable names here: Fabio Fognini from Italy, Diego Schwartzman from Argentina, Pablo Carreño Busta from Spain, and Marco Cecchinato from Italy. Those are your top 4 seeds in that tournament. The next tournament...
Pretty good little showing.
Yeah, the next tournament that's going on is Open Sud de France. You have Thomas Berdych from Czech Republic, who's playing right now. He was down on the first set. I'm not sure of the rest of the score. Jeremy Chardy from France is playing. Benoit Paire from France is playing. Joe Wilfried Tsonga won his first round.
Good for him.
He's playing in the next round.
Big fan.
Ernest Gulbis won his first round. And Dennis Shapovalov from Canada, Philip Kloschreiber from Germany, and David Goffin from Belgium.
That's a nice setup.
Yeah.
I think we'll get into this. I think Simona Halep just signed Goffin's old coach, and we'll get into that.
Yes. The next tournament that's going on is the Sofia Open, also a 250. Stan Wawrinka from Switzerland went down in 3 sets to Marius Copil from Romania. I was a bit shocked by that one.
Yeah, I don't know how to handle that one.
And then the guy that everybody talks about, Daniel Brands from Germany, defeated Nicholas Basilashvili from Georgia in 2 sets, buddy.
Yeah, I'm puzzled on that one. And Basilashvili was one of my top 5 people that I thought could win the Australian Open. So between Wawrinka and Basilashvili losing their first matches in these smaller tournaments, a little puzzling.
Yeah, and
a little puzzling. Does it really matter?
I think it does for these guys.
I think it does for these 2.
Gael Monfils will be playing against Viktor Troicki from Serbia, also in this
That's a good match, actually.
Yeah, it's a good match.
Troicki and Monfils should be a great match. I'd like to watch that, actually.
Yeah. Number 2 seed in this tournament, Stefanos Tsitsipas from Greece is playing, and Roberto Bautista Agut from Spain is playing, and so is Fernando Verdasquez from Spain.
Great job.
So those are the 3 tournaments. The Davis Cup is completing. You have
job
those 3
on that.
tournaments going on right now.
That's a great job.
Right? There are about 3 tournaments? Yeah.
So she went deep in the 250s.
Well, we never usually pay attention to them, but we should, because this is the sign of what's going to happen for your big tournaments, Indian Wells and the one in Miami.
I agree. Great job, Carla. All right, how about women's tennis news, Carla? WT, I don't think that this week there are any active tournaments, even at the 250 level. I think they were quite active last week.
Yes, they were.
But don't we have some news about Simona Halep?
Yep, she does hire David's ex-coach.
David Goffin.
David Goffin. Yeah, Thierry Van Klemput.
All right, do you want me to say something here? You want to start? You want me to start?
I don't know anything about this coach, so I can't really say much.
This coach, for me, and I've read and discussed this coach at length before with other people, he is a really good coach, first and foremost.
Okay.
It is not his fault, and this has been the discussion I've had with other people, it is not his fault that David Goffin hasn't won a major at this point. Goffin is a high-quality player. He's had a couple really freak injuries on court. And it set back his training, and ultimately, I think, people part ways over periods of time.
We see this a lot.
We see it a lot. I think Halep made a really good choice here. A really good choice. I look forward to seeing how Halep and this coach interact moving forward, especially into Roland Garros, where Halep has won before. She's a grinder like Nadal. She has a real big opportunity to repeat here, and I love to see how this is going to work out. Speaking of new coaches on the women's side and on the men's side, but more on the women's side, I really feel passionate that coaches in men's and women's tennis, especially in women's tennis, should sign contracts with the players. They are real people. These are real jobs that these coaches have.
Yeah, their family depends on their income.
Yeah,
and they have to travel, so a lot of times they're not even with their family.
I mean, the coaches these days in tennis get canned like nothing. I mean, if you coach college football or professional football or soccer or any sport, baseball, a coach signs a 5-year guaranteed $12 million contract with $7 million a year plus incentives and blah, 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 blah. Tennis coaches get hired on, and if they lose, someone can say, oh, I lost, it's your fault, see you later, and they're stuck. So don't you think that tennis coaches should have signed contracts?
I think so. They definitely need to. I mean, because you should have a guarantee. Even if that person decides to fire you, you can still get whatever they owe you, whatever money that they promised you, because it's just not right. I mean, what do? Grab a plane, go back home, and look for another job?
Yeah, and have to explain to their wives and kids why they may come up short on bills or whatnot. You know, I think it's a pretty interesting topic. I don't know why it is that tennis coaches don't sign contracts. I almost think it would be more safe to be a coach at a high level at a club and have a job application and steady pay and not have to worry about, well, you know, if I go travel the world with this player and I lose in the first round at some tournament, I might be hitching a ride home.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that it's a real interesting discussion. Should women's and men's coaches in tennis sign contracts? Right. Just like every other type of coach in the game.
They should. It's a job.
All right, so next week I think we have 2 women's tournaments.
Well, we also had two champions for the last one. You know, there was 2 tournaments.
Okay.
Thailand Open, and then we had St. Petersburg.
All right, who won the Thailand?
Well, Kiki Bertens is your champion there, and Diana Yastromska from Russia wins the Thailand Open. She's that 18-year-old that played against Serena.
So Bertens won St. Petersburg.
Yeah, St. Petersburg.
And then who won Thailand?
Diana Yastremska. We saw her play at the Australian Open against Serena. She cried. So, good match for her. She's 18 years old.
Hey, great job.
Yeah.
She got beat by Serena badly. You had a few tears shed, and she came back and won a tournament.
And also, Victoria Azarenka is now in the top 50.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we see more from Azarenka and the screeching decibels drop. 2 tournaments next week. Women's, what are they?
Qatar Open.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm sorry. We have the Qatar Open is the only tournament next week.
All right.
That starts February 11th.
February 11th, Qatar Open. Look forward to that. All right, topic 2. I'm going to make this quick. We're running out of time. Topic 2 for the day. Tennis match fixing and the brutal repercussions that come from it. So, real quickly, we have been reading some news about a tennis player from Egypt, Karim Hussam, an Egyptian player that was, quote, one of the best juniors in the world, considered to be the great hope of North African tennis, who was caught over a $1,000 tennis bet, or a $1,000 bribe to lose a tennis match, therefore a tennis bet, and his career ended and was slapped with a lifetime ban. Surely this young Egyptian man didn't think, and believe me, I am an expert on doing things without thinking.
Well, he didn't think for the first one, but...
And he kept going with it.
Yes.
Now, let's kind of put this into perspective. You get a young man from Egypt that surely...
he was in his 20s. He was a top junior. Top 10 junior.
Yeah, and surely there's probably not a ton of capital to go around, and he wanted to probably travel and to buy new equipment to fit in with the Joneses and everything else. And the young man, hopefully the best for him, he takes on a bribe, gets the taste of some quick, easy money, and continues to do it, ultimately to be caught and slapped with a lifetime ban. This will lead into our health tip of the day, but I must reiterate that we wish the best for this young man.
Well, he's now coaching kids, but he has been banned from for the tennis game. He can't play any tennis tournaments, in other words.
Yeah, I really wish the best for this young man. For myself, I cannot explain in extreme detail because of time some of the rush decisions I've made in my life that have ultimately cost me dearly. And I know that we are young when we do these things generally, and they lead to big problems. This young man we wish the best for. He is now coaching junior tennis, and we hope that he proceeds to share the game with everyone, and maybe he can share his story with all. I don't think it deserves a lifetime ban, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and unfortunately it has happened. We wish the best for him, but this leads into our health tip of the day. Think before you act. Sometimes it's easier said than done, especially when there's easy money presented to someone in dire need or someone very young that thinks things like money come quickly. They don't. Generally, cooler heads prevail. This leads to our quote of the day. patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
It's hard to pin down where this quote came from. Cato the Elder in the 4th century spoke about it, and the Canterbury Tales in the 14th century it was spoken about. But the moral of the story is nothing comes quickly, so plodding along, positive energy, and patience is needed as a key to success at any level. My dad used to say, throw a pebble in the bucket every day, be patient, and eventually that bucket will fill up. I couldn't have said it better. Thanks, Dad, for that metaphor. Patience is a virtue. Nothing comes easy. Slow and steady. Remain positive, and it will work out at the end of the day. That's it, everyone. Sorry if my energy was a bit off today. I'm still recuperating from a really rough day under the weather yesterday, but I feel better, about 75%. Thanks so much to all of you. Without you, this show isn't possible. This is your show, and yes, that includes anyone that comments and helps us out with the energy that we need to talk about things on a daily basis. Please subscribe to our channel. That's how we rate ourselves. Please share our videos. If you expand the description field below by hitting the down arrow below this video, if you wish to contribute, there's a PayPal link there, as well our name on Cash App. Thank you, B-Dog and Dave Raines, for your contributions. The only 2 in a half a year that I've done.
That's all right.
But that's great. Thank you very much for those, but you can do that below. Give us a thumbs up below. Again, that's how we grade our quality of every video. Thanks so much to YTEX Strings at Ivor Savage. There's a link in the description field below to their website. That's it, everyone. Much love, and we will see you all Thursday or Friday. And as the lovely Carla always says,
Adios.
let's go!
And let's go, Alma Bryant.
Oh, robot hit the dust.